So I'll be subbing in for Brian and Nathan for today's session, and the boys will be back next weekend to take over. Yeah. How's you guys' week going so far?
Yeah, good. Trying to better my understanding of order flow and market structure.
Okay. Yeah, I had a really good Monday. I don't even know how to say this. I straight out got fucked today. That is like the easiest way to put it. I ended up taking this sell. I took an SL on that. I took an SL on this one, and then I SL'd again on this one. And then I went to put this limit in, and I was like, I'm willing to try one more. And I didn't put the limit in because of these equals. I still have it open on my trade assistant right now. I was just looking at it, fuming over it. But yeah, I never put this one in, and she tanked. That's totally fine though. I had a really good Monday. It didn't work out for me. This one wasn't really this one was a bit of a sketchier operation. The only reason I even tried that was ended up pulling a volume profile on it, and it ended up having the highest volume. So I just thought I'd throw one on there, try it out and see. It didn't pan out. The overall bias was right, but yeah, it didn't work out. It's totally fine. I don't actually know. I don't think this will be our true move yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we come run these and then run this, but we'll see. I think tomorrow's horse CPI, and that'll likely be where our big move comes from. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, those 1 hours there, is that 1 hour structure points?
Or what do you mean?
Those the 1 hour demand, that's
just 1 hour supplies and demands.
Yeah, have you refined it from a 4 hour, or just found it on
No, I just pulled 1 hour zones that I thought were worth pulling. This is actually a cleaner chart than what I use. I just my other chart's a complete mess, so I thought I'd quickly pull a few zones and use a cleaner chart. But yeah, question wise, what do you guys have today? What's there?
Yeah, I want to know about the pivot point, but yeah, that's probably more Brian's thing.
100%, man. That's like, I have a decent understanding of it, but for me, like, I don't really care about structure on anything, like anything 1 hour and above. I care about it. I had kind of stopped looking at 15 structure, and to be completely honest, like right now I'm running off 4 hour and daily structure. So any kind of structure is simple enough on those time frames, right? But for the 5 candle pivot method, I would definitely ask Brian, as like I get a little bit confused with it sometimes in certain areas. It's simple enough, like I said, on the 4 hour daily. You start mapping it on the 1 hour and the 15 minute, it can definitely get to be it can be a little tricky to navigate. But I kind of moved away from the smaller time frame structure altogether. So it's actually been quite nice.
Yeah, so how do you map structure? Do you use pip pullback, or?
Yeah, I use pip pullbacks on this pair. Yeah, pretty much the same. And on Euro USD would be the same as we showed you guys in the course.
What about NAS and gold? The video also mentioned that those are the pullback. The pullback rule might or pip pullback rule might not be so good there, because they don't pull back so consistently as Euro USD and general forex pairs.
Yeah, again, I only look at 4 hour and daily structure. Like I can map that without really needing a pip pullback, I guess. And as of right now, I'm only trading euro. When I was looking at NASDAQ though, like I said, all my structure came off daily in 4 hours, so I wasn't I guess it's, well, you know what I mean. Like if we look at 4 hour, this is probably not the best example. If you look at the higher time frame structure points, they're pretty easy to map. You know, like this is a structure point. Like I can tell you this is structure. Oh, where's my thing? Structure, structure, structure. Pretty simple to map. So I don't really even so much consider the pip pullback or anything on this, just because you could pretty much tell it's structured just from what it's done, right? If it doesn't look like it pulled back much, then I'll look at the pips and stuff. So as far as looking structure on NASDAQ and gold, it's kind of the same for me. I just look at the higher time frames for the most part. Even Brian's 5 candle method, it's pretty simple on the 4 hour and daily. Like I could see it fine. For me to explain it to you, I'd probably confuse you. So I definitely ask Brian about that next Tuesday.
Yeah, or about like this zone, it has been going on for a while now. So how do you structure that point? Because it takes a long time before the 4 hour makes structure in that area compared to
Completely
NASDAQ
ignore
or
structure in that whole zone. So for euro right now, I'll show you what I'm looking at right now. So for euro USD, this is 4 hour. If we turn on the market structure indicator, it's going to be a disaster. Like it's gross, it's garbage. I don't even look at it. I know I'm bearish on the daily. So what I'm looking at right now is, well, in the course, you guys, we go over all the little internal range liquidities. Maybe it'll look a little better. But
yeah,
all of these
so
whenever
yeah,
these
so
are
do you trade the edges then of the range?
pretty much exactly. So there's a edge of the range is higher probability, but what's even higher probability is if we get a run on liquidity. So if you go to our internal and external range, the liquidity part in the section, like this is a bull fill, this is a bull fill, and those are fantastic trade ideas. One thing that will make the confluence even greater is if we run any external liquidity. So that's external range liquidity run, external range liquidity run. So sell, buy. This is kind of I don't know if you would have caught this, you might have taken a few hits, but again, every time these bull fills happen, I look for entries. But let's actually zoom in on this a bit and maybe we can, oops. What I mean is, so the concept is we want to hit some kind of external range liquidity. So if that zone gets wiped, I'll slam a sell. So this zone right here got taken, I'll slam a buy. You didn't really tap into anything external range here, but when this liquidity got run, I would 100% look for a sell. When this liquidity gets run here, I'll 100% look for a sell. And it's just ping pong back and forth. And the reason we teach the liquidity concepts is when you get into a range like this, structure is going to do you no good. You know, overall, I can tell you I'm bearish on the daily, but as you said yourself, the daily time frame can take weeks to play out, right? So in December, I think Euro sat in a range like this for 6 weeks. And the only thing I knew is I can buy here, I can sell here. If I play in here, I will likely lose. So every day I would get up and I would be looking at what do I define as an edge today? So like when we're in this range, anything from here on would be an edge to me. And if I get a run on this, I'll look for a sell. If we get a run on this, you look for a sell. I would have probably looked for a buy here. Maybe not so much, it's more middle of the range, but I might have even eaten a loss there had I been awake. And then I know when this gets run, I'll be looking for buys again. And it can get a little tricky because you may take a few hits. If you're good at risk management, you should be able to break even on some of those. But again, you know, these ones maybe not worked out so well, but then we tap into external range again, and you can see we get a really good push up.
Yeah,
It's just I'm always looking at, there's actually, what's it called?
You use Notion to
Yes,
for your
yes, I use Notion.
can we have a look at your or do you have a template or something that we can borrow or something?
I do not. I literally write what I write in my journal and I put screenshots of my trading view. So what I end up doing is I just I end up basically, no, this one doesn't have it. So what I end up doing with Notion is I'll literally, all my notes go in here. So I'll literally draw out what my trade idea was. And then I'll take this screenshot and the link. And for the most part, I write in the bubble, okay, right direction of travel, highest volume area, POI had imbalance, worth a try. And then this is literally what I'll write. So for my trading aspect of my Notion, it's stuff like this. And then this one I would put, chalk, however, first tap. So may run this. And anytime I go for a first chalk, I know the probability is not in my favor because generally it becomes inducement for the next one, and that happened here a few times. Funny enough, I actually put my stop loss 0.6 above on this one. I went and looked on my broker and I'm pretty sure this stopped me out by like 0.1 and I would have been in it, but either way. But this is what my notes look like on my Notion. And aside from that, I actually write my psychological state, how I feel, what I'm doing. If I start saying, if I start saying stupid shit or something, I make note of that. If I start feeling anxiety or something, I have to walk away from the screen for 10 minutes to cool off. I'll write that in my notes. And my Notion is more of a mental well-being diary than it is a trading diary. My trading diary is all done on TradingView, and I just put the picture and the link into my Notion. And then what I do is I keep a notebook, and my notebook's got how many trades I've taken today, and basically what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. And usually the pattern's been the same. I'm good. If I take multiple hits in a row, I start thinking, of getting reckless. And because I keep my journal and because I keep my notes and because I review them, I already know what's coming. So I got pretty pissed off come this trade, and I decided not to take this one. And sure enough, it went, and that's totally fine. But I also know that after multiple losses in a row without taking a break, I start doing stupid stuff. So it is what it is. It didn't work out for me today. But yeah, my Notion, I don't have a template. My template is what I showed you here on TradingView and what my mental well-being diary is, which is basically what I'm feeling during the trading state. So like if I didn't get enough sleep and I feel like shit, I make that Notion, I write that on my daily log. Hey, I had a shitty sleep, I don't feel well, or whatever. Anything that's got anything to do with my well-being, that's pretty much what my Notion's used for. The trading aspect itself, if I really wanted to, I could just look at my MT4 and see what trades I took. But that's not what Notion's about to me. Notion is about, well, what was I feeling at the time? And why did I take these trades? And the simplest way to describe why you took these trades is what I'm showing you here. So usually I'll have a couple layouts. I'll do a screenshot or two for the higher time frame, and then I'll do one for the entries. And I'll do the screenshot. So what I'll do is I'll take the actual screenshot here. Hold on. So I'll save the image and I'll take the link as well. So I'll save the image, post that with the link underneath. Sometimes the images come out blurry, so you want that link with the image. So that's pretty much it for Notion. As far as like, do I follow any template? No, man, it's why did I take the trade? and how was my mental state, and when did I start losing control. And you know, like today, I wouldn't say I lost control. I got a little bit aggravated here. But it is what it is. Usually if I get this many hits in a row in one area, I don't try the area again. I just leave it. You know, and this was just one of those things. Like I said, this was like 0.1 more and I would have been in this, or I took the next one, I would have been in this. But then I also have rules that said if I take 3 this close together, I need to take a break. So I actually ended up getting on a Zoom call with a friend discussing some other stuff, and I didn't even trade anymore after this. Like when at this point on, I was basically on a Zoom call with a friend going on about my business because my trading day had ended because strike 1, 2, 3, I'm done. It's just one of those days, but that's the best advice I can give you for Notion. Have a mental well-being diary, your psychological diary, and have the actual trading diary, and the two need to reflect on each other. Hey, you know, and then some days I'll be like, hey, I took 4 losses, I feel great, everything was according to plan. The losses were spaced an hour apart, they were all from different POIs. I didn't just throw 4 trades into one area in 3 minutes and lose it all at the same time. So, and then so that goes from Monday to Friday. On Sunday, what I do is I read every single Notion and I quickly go through these. And then whatever my issue was that I see standing out for the week, I make a little. I basically write myself out a plan to focus on for the week. Okay, so my focus this week is. I noticed I've been taking the majority of my losses have come before the New York Open. So now, if I had taken up, say, 2 losses before the New York Open, maybe I don't trade again until the Open, or do something to space it out and give yourself that time away from the screen. So I usually take my dog out or whatever. But what the whole idea with Notion is, you read every weekly diary. And on Sunday, you decide what you're going to focus on. So like a couple weeks ago, like I said, my focus was not to take more than 2 losses before the New York Open. If I did, take a break. And that's actually helped a lot. And it helps my mental state a lot. And it's funny enough, when you take that break from the screen, you think you missed the day. And there will be a trade after. But I hope that kind of gives you some clarity on what I do with Notion. I don't have any template I downloaded or anything. But for the longest part, all I did was keep this for a trading journal, and I saved them all in a folder. And then I realized that there was no mental diary of my mental state. And that's where you need to have more of your focus, more so than your trading, I would say. You know, any one of us knows, you know, you pick a directional bias and you wait for a chalk and flip and you go that direction. That's simple enough, but the mental well-being to not overtrade in one area and not repeat mistakes as much as possible. The only way you get past that is by becoming aware of it. So like I probably jot anywhere from a half a page to a full page of notes during each trading session. I have journals and journals from like years of this stuff. And that was my initial journaling. Then I went to just this. And then I looked at just MT4 and MT5. And I pretty much tried everything. At one point, I even had a spreadsheet. This is the best I found for me. Have a mental well-being diary and have your trading view link and trading view description of what happened that day. And that kind of takes care of both. But like I said, I've tested this multiple times. At one point, I actually wrote everything out on paper, right down to what price I took it at, how big the stop loss was, and it just got to be monotonous. So I was just like, rather than doing that, this is the quick version of what happened on the chart. I'm more concerned about the mental version of what led me to what followed, right? So if you if you do this right, you'll be able to spot patterns of what happens and when it happens and what caused it to happen. Generally, I can tell you from myself that if I've taken a couple hits too close together, all the decisions that follow that go to shit. So that's where me keeping a journal and me knowing what's coming next, I knew right here when this had happened, I told myself trading was ended. Like at this time, I was already looking at a chart, at this chart with my buddy discussing something else, not really caring about trading anymore today. So I can pretty much look back at the data and tell you, you know, today my next trade would have went, but another day I would have threw a sell, and it just turns into more losses. So rather than that, I know that if I take 3 hits in one area, you walk away, you come back tomorrow. And like yesterday, I got 20R. Today, I got -3R. But it's not about making money every day. It's about surviving long enough to get to be here for the setups when they happen, which is what you're seeing going on with a lot of the crypto hedge funds. So many of them over leverage and stuff and went long on Bitcoin. They weren't here long enough to survive for the next crypto bull run. You know, crypto will go up again. I don't know when, but it will go up again. It will run the all-time highs. That it's a very highly probability of that. Is it going to happen anytime soon? I have no idea. But the goal is to survive long enough to have the ability to even be here to trade that. There's a really good book called The Psychology of Money. I think that, hold on. Yeah, The Psychology of Money. That's what I'm reading right now. I'm almost through the book. It might be worth a read to you. It kind of actually really correlates well within the trading and investing world. So I think I went a little off tangent there, but
yeah, I've also looked into something called Trading in the Zone from Mark Douglas.
Yeah, I read that. That's not a bad book. There's another one that I just read recently. I forget the name of it. I don't know where the book is. I'll get the name for you later. Nathan gave it to me, but it was a little bit better than Trading in the Zone, because Trading in the Zone was more like, you know, understand this but ignore this. And the next book I read, and can't remember the name, but I'll get it for you now, probably later today. The other book I read, it was more like, don't ignore the feelings, accept the feelings and know that you're human, but basically jot down on a notepad what the feelings are and where they're coming from. So you know, it teaches you how to deal with anger and frustration, but rather than anger and frustration, where's the anger and frustration coming from? Okay, well, anger and frustration, I took 3 losses in a row. Let's say I wanted to come back and keep trading today because I thought for sure something was going to happen, and I did think there was an opportunity. When I first started trading, I would have just kept firing trades. Today, I'll be like, I'm going to take a half-hour break. I'm not going to look at a screen. I'm not going to look at a phone. I'm going to go cool off, and I'm going to come back with a level-headed mind. Because I know if I keep sitting at the screen, I'll likely make poor decisions. I know if I give myself a break and come back, I'll probably make better decisions. And another good one is go make yourself a cup of coffee after a loss or two. You know, I've had very, very expensive cups of coffee, I can tell you. But you need that time off the screen. I'm very systematic. You know, in the morning, I spend so much time on the screen. Then I go to the gym, I walk my dog. Then I get back, I do a bunch of work. In between that work, I need to break off the screen, so I'll walk my dog again. And then when I get back, I'll do a little more screen work. At 6 o'clock, I'm screens off. I don't care who needs what. I know I need time screens off. So that's when I'll plan my journal for what needs to get done tomorrow. I'll read my books. Like, I won't even turn the TV on most days. I have a very I have a system I follow. The routine works for me. I used to sit on the computer right until I went to bed, and all that would happen is I couldn't fall asleep and I'd stay awake forever. So you need to figure out what your systematic approach is and just follow that. And I will definitely I will definitely get you that other book's name. Let's see, I come from one trade a day, winner, loss, and walk away, but here I can take up to 4 thanks to the RR. Yeah, so like I'll go up to 5 trades in a day. I won't. I don't take 5 losses though. Like if I'm gonna take 5 trades, like something in there needs to be like a break even or two. You know, some days I'll push it and I'll let myself take 4 losses and it's a piss off, but it happens. And it is what it is. But you know, I also know that if I haven't got something to go in the first 5 trades, I'm probably not gonna make any miracle happen. And I have a lot of data backing that I journaled. Nothing good comes from you at the screens after you've taken a lot of hits. Even if you didn't take hits, even if I take 3 or 4 break evens, I'm usually pissed off enough that the decision making's gone downhill. So that's where the whole journaling while you're trading is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the more important part. It's probably 80% of your trading is from your habits and disciplines. Like I said, anybody can fire a chalk and flip enough times. You can fire, you know, you'll find some success. It's you know, I get a lot of different kinds of DMs, and one of the biggest struggles is people will make money on a demo, but they can't make money on a real account. And what is the difference? Well, the difference is nothing's changed, but your emotions are getting to you because now you're losing real money, and you don't know how to deal with that.
What's your experience like trading on a funded account versus your own? Would you say that your feeling is better?
I feel way better on my own. So like I'll take a lot more losses on my own account than I will on a funded account. And that's just something you'll develop over time. The thing with my own account is I'm not at risk of losing it. So I know I can fire a few extra risky trades at it. With a funded account, you pretty much just sit and wait for what you consider a prime setup. And if you don't have that, you either just try one and walk away, or you just wait the next day. Like this for me right now.
What about lowering the risk to maybe 0.20? That will,
So I
translates to.
I use 0.25 on funded accounts. Like if I'm having a really good week and I'm up on the week, I'll sometimes up that risk to 0.35. I don't even do 0.5% anymore. The reason being is sometimes I market execute and slippage just becomes so bad for me that sometimes if I take, let's say 0.25% risk and I hit stop loss, it'll hit like 0.4%. So just from that alone, I lowered my risk, and it doesn't bother me overall. And then on your own accounts too, like you have your big boy account, and that one is, you know, you take good setups and take the odd risky one. And I also keep a really tiny cash account, and that's the one where I'm like, well, this trade's probably not gonna go. It's high risk as fuck, but I'm gonna try it just on this account. So I have, you know, I have the low risk account, I have the high risk account. The high risk account, I don't keep a lot of money in because it's more of an experimental account than it is anything. But every now and then, you know, you get a really high art trade because you tried something crazy you wouldn't regularly try. But for the most part, it's wait for the good setups. Like to me, I was only looking for euro sells today. I'm not sure that we're done going. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we ran these and then crashed. But like I said, we'll see what London does, and I don't know if we'll get a trade tomorrow or not after core CPI. But that was kind of the views for me today. Everything I was looking at was sells. I didn't actually have a buy bias. But you know, yeah, we should have a decent directional bias. Yeah, so is there any more questions, guys, just before we end this?
Yeah, you done today?
So office hours are only half hour. Q&A's run for the hour.
Oh,
But if
okay.
but you didn't get a turn, so let's go through your questions. What's going on?
No, I'll just listen to it.
No, if you got questions, I'm here. I don't mind staying late. Just let me know what you want to go through.
The last time I was talking about the 4 hours and how you enter under 15 minutes.
Yes.
An internet problem.
You're having some problems. You're entering on the 15-minute?
No, I just want to get a little more, how should I say it? I learn better when somebody teaches to me instead of just going in the course and then,
Yeah, so for me, so the whole chart analyzation for me, it's actually, you know what, why don't we, just gonna delete everything. We're gonna start with the fresh chart here. All right, cool. Cool. So for me, when I get to a chart, I'll quickly look at the 4 hour, and I'll look at any relevant points. So that's probably a very relevant 4 hour because it hasn't been mitigated. Down here, everything's been mitigated. This one's not really a demand because it hasn't done anything. It's maybe expect a reaction from this wick. It hasn't fully been mitigated, but that's about all I would pull on the 4 hour. From here, what I'll do is go to the 2 or the 1. Stop using
Like
so
this,
much.
for example, if you go back, this area could potentially be 1, and it got mitigated over here.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. And so I actually took these buys and to further add to what you and I were talking about earlier, these buys were based on running this liquidity, and I knew there'd be a reaction up. But yeah, we're just gonna go through laying out a chart quickly here. Anyway, so we went through the 4 hour. These are kind of the nearby 4 hours. Then I'll look at the 1 hour and 1 hour. So this morning, obviously, we had this zone that hasn't been fully mitigated. So I had that pulled. And whatever time frames you want to use, that's totally up to you. I went more to the 1 hour and away from the 2 because it was kind of a better spacing. So that's as far as my 1 hour supply and demand go in the zones that are relevant to me. So each morning, like, you don't need 300 POIs. Pull a couple 4 hours, pull a couple 1 hours. I can tell you right now from experience that Euro's not going to smash through either of these 4 hour zones and smash through 5 other zones all in one day. So pull what you need, and then go down to the 15-minute. We didn't really have a proper 15-minute POI, as none of this really broke anything.
would you like consider this like a POI or
yeah, you
relevant
could.
area?
Yeah, you could. I probably wouldn't trade off of it unless it popped up on something higher time frame. Like if I look at the 1 hour, it's been mitigated. Like what I see when I look at this is this to me is all stacked to be run. So when I look at all this, that to me is all going to be run. I don't know if it's gonna, all happen in one session or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if course CPI runs all that in one push. But when I look at this, I don't really care as much about the 15-minute POI. Like if price came all the way down here and reacted off of this, I probably wouldn't just trade off of it unless something higher time frame backed. But this morning when I got to the chart, I was working with just this. I didn't really have anything that resembled a 15-minute POI. So I was solely just relying on the 1 hour supply and demand. And then only once this formed did, you could say this became a 15-minute supply because it broke this, and this was something because it broke that. But until you get that chain of events, you really had no lower time frame stuff to work with. And the cleaner you can keep your charts, the easier it is to navigate. Now, let's say I was completely wrong on my sell bias and price smashed through here. Well, now I would be like, this would have been a demand, and there would have likely been a demand here that flipped this supply, and either one of these zones would have become valid to maybe continue the move. So I basically pull a couple 4-hour zones, pull a couple 1 or 2 hour zones. And then for the most part, you shouldn't have much more than a couple of 15-minute zones. But that's how I lay it out. So all the stuff I looked at today came from the 1 hour. So the cells I was telling you earlier. And where's the lady that I was talking to earlier? Who was that?
I'm right there.
Oh, you're right here. Does that
I'm listening.
Yeah, but does that kind of make sense? You want to lay out your start from the higher time frame and go down. I wouldn't say so much worry about your daily supplies and demands, because within the daily you'll probably find the 4 hour, the 1 hour. For myself, I do look at the daily. What I do with the daily is tell myself, okay, there is a daily zone that starts here. And I'll just do, where is it? Do I not have one? Oh, here it is, daily key level. So if I get too many POIs in one area, let's say there's like 3 or 4 hours, rather than pulling a bunch of blocks, I'll actually pull a bunch of trend lines. And I got trend lines for daily. I have trend lines for 4 hour, and it keeps your chart a lot neater. You know, chances are you're only gonna play in one supply or demand that's a 4 hour per session. So chances are, if you have one of these, you know it's there. But I've really been trying to get away from having 800 supply and demands in one area, because it makes for a mess. So to me, like, I had the sell bias, like I was telling you earlier, and this is all I needed for that sell bias. Had this zone failed, then I would have pulled a couple of demands as to what caused that failure. And I know that it would have looked something like this, where it maybe comes back, maybe gives me one more drive into that supply. And then chances are something in here will give us a reaction to go back down, because it ran all of this inducement and you have a freshly mitigated supply. So
did you trade from this zone also?
I didn't trade off that zone yet. I traded off this zone today. But I would, if price came up to this zone, I would absolutely be looking for shorts, 100%. It's I would say, so 3 out of 4 4-hour zones, you'll get a reaction. It's not very often that price just goes right through a 4-hour zone with zero reaction and nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Does that kind of answer your question?
Janice. I'm
What's your name?
trying
Sorry?
to. Janice.
Jenny, okay. Does that kind of help
Janice.
Janice. Okay.
Janice, yes.
Sorry. Does that help you understand that a little bit better?
I'm trying to understand. I will understand, gradually.
We'll keep coming to these, and we can keep doing these. This is a little bit, this is not your typical easy chart, because it's sat in this range and you're just like, which way do I go? And that's where you got to go a little bit beyond market structure and start looking at targeting liquidity. So that's why we teach both concepts in the course. Overall bias, like I said, bearish. That being said, that doesn't mean you can't buy for days until a bearish zone. So even though I'm bearish, I'm still going to play all the buys in here. Like yesterday I was buying, today I was looking to sell.
And
go ahead.
So like this area here, that's quite a lot. Did you put you run with like 2 to 5 pip stop loss?
Yeah.
Or do you...
So for stop loss, I just go 0.5 above the POI I'm on. So if the POI I'm on is 2 pips, I'll cover 2.5 pips. If the POI I'm trading from is 10 pips, I'll cover 10.5 pips.
Yeah, so
the
like
rule of
this
thumb-
area is 1 hour, and that's probably a big, a lot of.
I wouldn't cover the whole zone, never.
Oh.
No, I would.
So
That's the
That's more.
question.
Hey,
Yes, how do you know? How do you know? Okay, I'm seeing the chat right in front of me, your chat. How do you know where is the daily, the 4 hour, the 15 in the same chat?
oh, on the same chart.
Okay,
Well, right now, if we go to the daily, I can tell you right now that I don't need to pull anything daily in that because there's nothing of relevance. So the only daily zone that matters is up here because it hasn't been mitigated. And you can say we have a daily zone here that'll get mitigated. So that's where I was saying, if you want, for the sake of chart hygiene, just start pulling a few trend lines. And I'll make this really easy for you. Have one daily demand, one daily supply, just use trend lines. Have one daily, have one 4 hour demand, one 4 hour supply, and then have maybe one 1 hour demand and maybe one 1 hour supply. And then all your intermediate stuff in between, such as the 15 zones, chances are you only have 2 or 3 on your chart a day. The cleaner you can keep your charts, the better. I don't, if you and I were coming to the chart today, the chances of me having to worry about this daily zone or this daily zone are not very high. Because even if I took sells here or buys here, we're probably not reaching that daily zone today. So that's why I know where the daily is. I'm aware of it. I'll put trend lines. I don't concern myself too much about it. Your biggest reaction is going to come from a 4 hour after a run on major liquidity. It might also look something like this, where the liquidity gets run and price tanks, and the next time we come up and mitigate it, right? So you don't need to have every zone on the chart pulled. Be realistic with yourself and what's likely gonna get tagged in the next few days. Well, maybe this one, maybe this one. Do I need any other zones? Maybe in the future. Today I don't.
Yeah.
But
How do you make a smaller POI within this 1 hour? Since
So I
this is
don't-
probably like 30, 40 pips.
yeah,
Ish.
so rather than doing that, I just wait for a new POI to get created. So today, this is the 1 hour POI we drove into. Unfortunately, none of this would really resemble a supply because it didn't break anything. But a lot of times price will come in and it'll break a demand and give you a 15 POI. And then my refinement would come from what broke that. So today you didn't actually have any supply till here, till it broke something. And then you could say you had another supply zone develop here once it broke this. Unfortunately, this didn't break anything, and it was just one of those situations where I didn't have a POI. So I don't personally refine POIs within POIs. I'm willing to fire multiple trades at this, and generally in the session, you will get 15-minute POIs developed. Today's were a bit late, but most sessions start out and something will break something. So yesterday, where were we? So yesterday, this broke that, which validates this as a demand. This broke that, which validates this as a demand, and you just keep following price up, right? But like I was saying today, nothing broke nothing. But had you had a demand zone
It didn't
here,
break.
hey,
It didn't break anything. I'm
So-
saying you said break.
yeah, right here, none of that broke anything. So had there been a demand zone, let's say here or here, then this would have been a supply. Then you could have refined this supply to a
Okay,
smaller one. But because there was no break, there was nothing to follow. Like to me, the first break occurred after this was broken. And this would have been my first 15 supply. But I was firing trades off this 1 hour supply. And to me, I was kind of hoping the London High would hold too, which it did.
You
today.
finished?
But yeah, does that kind of make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Alrighty, does anybody else have any more questions? If not, we'll end this here, guys. And Thursday we'll have the full 1 hour Q&A too. So if you got more questions, we can go over it again in 2 days' time.
Yeah.
In
And
the meantime, fire some charts at us in the Discord.
yeah, and you're gonna have this call bi-weekly or every other
So this call and the Q&A are gonna stay every week. It's just the back testing session we're gonna move to bi-weekly. So this Sunday we'll have one, the next Sunday we won't, the next Sunday we will. Whereas office hours and Q&A are gonna stay every week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a back testing call we're gonna be scaling back on. It's for us, back testing is the same thing over and over and over again, but we still want to do it once in a while as we're getting new members come in. Whereas the Q&A is where our members truly learn. So this is kind of something I do want to keep weekly and ongoing. Whereas the back testing itself, you've seen 3 back testing sessions of ours. They're all pretty much generally the same. It's not about seeing me take the trade. It's about would you take that trade, and if you didn't, that's fine because you got to find a plan that works for you, right?
Yeah. How long have you been having this trading course or community?
This community, I think I built the course in maybe October, and then I think November I launched the community. To be honest, I wasn't planning on launching a community till like this year sometime, but I thought it was going to take a long time to build up, so I better start now. But yeah, so in November this year, we'll be 1 year old.
Yeah, have you had a lot of people come back and through? I think you have like 57 followers, 55,000 followers on Instagram.
Some come and go, some stay. For the most part, a lot of people come for 1 month and they go community hopping. The kind of guy
I'm
joined
staying right here.
I had a guy that joined the other day, and I think we were his 6th community in 6 months. And the day he joined, he had already canceled his membership, and that's the common thing. But it is what it is. Whatever works for people. At the end of the day, whatever community you pick, we just tell people stick with one because that's where you'll grow. That's where you'll refine an edge, whatever community it may be. But yeah, guys, we'll end this one here. And my Zoom will probably freeze. So if it does.
Also, I stumbled upon a website a few days ago.
Yeah.
And they've got your course on there for sale.
Oh yeah,
$10 or $5.
Yeah, that's pretty common with anything you put on.
Let me ask him a question.
Every course ever made is online. That's what I keep telling people. It's not the course, it's the community, and it's being able to attend the Zoom calls and actually get help. But
Can I ask a question
when I started Forex, somebody gave me a folder with 5,000 courses. And I went and watched like 3 of them, and I just realized they were all useless to me because I couldn't talk to the guy that made it. So yeah, there's I think most are $5 or $10 that somebody from somewhere will sell you.
I have a last question to ask.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. When my subscription is up, I have to pay. Should I just continue with the same?
So the way the subscription is set up, it should just continuously keep billing whatever method you use. So whether that's hard, and it'll basically keep going until you go and end the subscription right in the Teachables administration panel.
I'm having problem with that one, but I see you have a cost for $90. So I'm saying, as I'm a new beginner, should I just stay with this cost?
Yeah, Yeah,
Than to
so-
pay.
Yeah, you're fine staying here. The $90 thing's a PDF. The only reason we made that separate is a lot of people that don't speak English end up buying our stuff and they can't
Oh,
translate
okay.
our videos, so they buy our PDFs and translate it for themselves. So yeah,
Thank
you don't, this is all you
Yeah,
need.
bye.
All right. All right,
Okay.
guys. Have a great rest of your day and we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Thanks.
Yeah.